What's happening, all you drum nerds, story hounds, musicians, artists, wild-eyed heathens, and more? Got a super talented drummer in Navene Koperweis of California's Entheos today. Navene and I caught up on Entheos' tour with Rivers of Nile when they came through Brooklyn and played the one and only St. Vitus Bar. Shout out to St. Vitus Bar, by the way. But we were able to get in a pretty sweet rooftop hang with some icy cold light beers, or coldy Hans, or crispy boys as he calls them. But we talked about various drinks in different cities, party tickets, the Entheos tour regimen, his drumming DNA, stories of Primus Meshuggah, Frederick the Riddenall, and more. So it was a good one and a good hang and a killer drummer. Shout out to my sponsor, New Orleans Record Press. If you're looking at releasing vinyl, go on over to NewOrleansRecordPress.com to look at them sweet-ass vinyl coloring, packaging, mastering, electroplating, lacquer cutting options, as well as a real-time quote generator. And they print both 12 and 7-inch records in both 150 and 180-gram variants. They also print small runs as 100 and up to pressings in the thousands. And they can also assist you in design and any other questions if you got them. So just give them a holler and tell them Crash Bang Boom sent you. Check them out, and that's NewOrleansRecordPress.com. Crash Bang Boom is now available on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. Give me a follow, a like, a subscription, a review, etc. That'd all be greatly appreciated. And now for the interview with Navene, who is both a character and one hell of a drummer. Rooftops and light beers, y'all. We got to do this more often. Here we go. Crash Bang Boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
Navene Koperweis, what's happening, dude? How you making out? We're up here on a rooftop overlooking this crazy, chaotic place that is Manhattan, full cityscape. It's a little windy for the listeners. If you hear wind, that's because we're very much on a rooftop hanging out, drinking. I'm drinking beers.
Yeah, I wish that the listeners could see this. It's incredible.
It is quite a view to behold.
It's a great view, and if you are listening, you might want to crack open a Coldy Han.
A Coldy Han. For those of you, and you're welcome that I just gave you that golden nugget of whatever that is.
Is it a golden nugget or a silver nugget?
Either way, depends what you prefer, I suppose. We'll keep it open. Yeah, Coldy Hans.
Crispy boys.
You like crispy boys.
Yep.
I like a Bronson's, a Chili Charles Bronson.
Amazing.
A Chili Charles Bronson.
I think maybe some people who are listening, maybe one guy, would know that I am a Coors Light fan. So when I saw that you pulled the Coors Lights out of your backpack, instant connection right there.
Instant connection.
Instant bond.
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, you're a California guy, right?
I am.
Well, growing up in the deep south, there is no fucking way I'm going to be drinking a Christmas tree fermented with a little bit of cat piss that is known as an IPA in 110-degree sweltering, full-on humidity heat that is New Orleans.
You're the only guy that I've ever met who doesn't like IPA. And I'm always like this IPA thing became such a craze.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I hate them, but I don't get why it's the go-to beer. It's not that good.
It's carbonated mud with hints of cat piss and fennel is the way I describe it.
You know how I describe it? Melted pennies, carbonated. Doesn't that what it tastes like? It tastes like melted pennies carbonated. I mean, I'll take one if you give it to me every once in a while, but
yeah,
I'm so much more of like a Coors Light guy or a cheap beer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Cold and refreshing. Yeah. It's easy.
Cold and refreshing. Call me crazy.
Yeah, my buddy calls it beer-flavored seltzer water.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
And some people say that as an insult, but I think when someone says that to me, I'm like, yeah, it tastes like water. It's like, yeah, water's refreshing. I like it. Duh.
Yeah. Guess what water is? Refreshing. Well, it's good talking to you, man. Good to catch up with you. I'm a fan of your drumming. I'm excited to talk to you about the many technical and other aspects of drumming in general.
Totally.
But for now, here we are. We're in Brooklyn. Y'all are playing St. Vitus tonight. Y'all
We
being Entheos.
Yep.
With Rivers of Nile.
Yes, sir.
I've also interviewed Jared. Feel free to check out that episode. How long have y'all been out thus far?
We've been out for probably approaching 6 weeks at this point.
Uh-huh.
It's been a long run. Because we did about 5 days getting out to the show because it started on the opposite end of the country as us. Did the tour. It was about a month long, and now we have 5 shows going home.
Gotcha.
But I think actually in total, the tour might have been a little over a month. So
okay,
it's been a long run, but it's been great, and it goes by so fast. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you? I mean, I'm assuming you must enjoy touring to some degree, considering you're doing it.
Yeah, it's great.
I've talked about it before in previous episodes that I was never really able to get into the groove of touring, it seems. Probably because I do like to party, and there is so much idle time.
I know.
I don't deal well with idle time, and my go-to move in moments of idle time is to just drink.
Yep.
And I want to do that, and I want to party because I feel like I'm on vacation, but I have responsibilities, so then I don't feel like I'm on vacation. And then I drink too much, and then I'm hungover, and then I'm playing the gig, and then I'm drinking. It's just a fucked up cycle.
It's terrible.
I was never really able to get into the groove of touring, and I never really fully loved the life, so to speak.
I have been doing what you're talking about for a lot of years, and on this tour, I honestly have not been drinking very much. Yeah, I was telling you earlier.
Four nights. You gave yourself 4 nights. I gave myself
4 drinking nights, and you're talking about idle time. Well, we've been filling our time with productive activities. So I'm pretty much never idle.
Okay. Productive activities, like give me a few examples.
Like I go to the gym every day.
For real?
Yeah.
You look like you're staying pretty fit.
Yeah, I've lost like 15 pounds.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So we go to the gym every day.
The whole band?
Yeah. Yeah. So we joined Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Which is they don't endorse us, so I shouldn't even be plugging them. But
but
we go there. There's like thousands of them. Like you look one up. I don't care. Like pull your phone out right now if you're listening.
Yeah.
And look up a Planet Fitness. There's probably 5 to 6 right near you, and it's $20 a month. Okay. So what we do is we play the show. We look to see where we're going to the next day. We look up a Planet Fitness. We drive there. And then when we get there, it's the middle of the night. Everybody can take a shower or whatever. We sleep in the van. And then in the morning, we go into the gym, work out, shower, go to the show.
No shit.
We do that every fucking day.
Really?
Yeah. And it's been sick. Like, it makes the tour go by so quick, though. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. It's like... It's a totally different pace than what I usually do. Because I'm the party guy.
Right.
I'm down to have fun, And,
yeah.
And I'm still having fun, but it's just a different type of fun.
There is no way in hell that I could give myself only 4 drinking nights over the course of a 6-week tour. I'm impressed.
I know. The only way you can do it is if you're working towards something. And I'm working towards being more fit.
Yeah.
And then also, it's expensive to drink, man.
Of course it is.
It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's fine when you're on vacation because, you've worked hard for it. But,
yeah.
What I was telling Cheney, the vocalist of Entheos, she's also my fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dipping your pen in company ink, as they say.
Yes. Totally. Well, we were actually together before we started the band. So we've been together for a number of years. And then the band's only been a band for like 4 years. So we were already together for like 3 or 4 years.
That makes more sense. I was going to say, if it started in the band, I feel like then you're in a Fleetwood Mac's. Although that's maybe a strange correlation.
Which I could see that being a red flag or whatever, but I think since we were already solid.
Yeah, exactly.
It was sort of a progression that way.
That makes sense.
But what I was telling her was... I want to be, because what I usually do is I go on tour, I drink all the time.
Yeah.
I gain excess weight. I spend all my money. Okay. And then I go home and I'm like, okay, I got to get, and then I hit the gym every day and then I go on like a diet, quote unquote. And then I, work a lot to, try to offset all the money I spent on tour.
Right.
And then I was saying, what if we just made it so we behave the way we behave at home all the time,
right?
Because we're on tour all the time. So the only way this is going to work is if we're responsible and working towards where we want to be in the future, even if we're on tour. A tour is not an excuse anymore,
right? To
act like a irresponsible kid, and that's where I'm at with it.
That's impressive, man.
And it's really been more. I guess it's not as quote unquote fun, but it's rewarding when I'm looking at the end of a tour and I'm going, I'm more fit than when I started the tour.
Yeah.
Like I have more money than when I started the tour.
Right.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Right.
And that's because of being strict with myself,
Well, congratulations on self-discipline.
Thank you. And right now I'm totally not being disciplined.
Right. Is this the fourth night?
This is night 4. I'm cashing in the final token. I've had a couple Jamesons.
Nice.
I'm feeling pretty good.
I bet. I mean, for those also, we didn't even talk about the weather, but you're obviously a California guy. We're having full-on, like, killer California weather,
dude.
which is why I also started drinking much earlier today as well.
This day is so nice. I mean, how can you not?
How can you
come on,
not?
Dude, this is great. Yeah, I mean, we've experienced some freaking cold on this tour, man. We were in Milwaukee.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're just going to be frozen solid if you go outside.
Oof.
It's just brutal.
I bet.
But Cheney's from the Midwest, from Des Moines, Iowa. So
Iowa.
I'm accustomed to that weather as well.
Okay.
I spent some time there. And
yeah,
it's freaking cold.
I'm kind of over this cold shit.
I hear you.
This will be 13 years for me being in New York, and my days are numbered.
Really? Where are you thinking?
Maybe Atlanta probably looks like a very like
cool.
one. I work in
Cool.
television, and there's that. My wife works in the airline industry.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense that that would be a place, and it's more southern. There's a music scene.
Very cool.
Housing is affordable, et cetera, et cetera.
What about Nashville?
Nashville is super cool, has gotten more expensive. I really do dig Nashville. Probably a little country-centric for my tastes, although there are other clearly things going on. Great food scene, lots of drinking.
Oh, God, it's just whenever I go there. The last party night token that I cashed in
was Nashville.
Was obviously Nashville. I mean, like,
yeah.
Right when I got there, I was just like, oh, my God, I got to fucking drink. Like,
yeah.
I did over the summer, I recorded drums on Whitechapel's new album.
Okay.
And so I stayed in Nashville for 10 days.
Nice.
And I just hung out with Mark Lewis, who's the producer for that stuff. And he and I just stayed at his house, and we were working at Warner Brothers Studio, which is on Music Row.
Wow.
So it's right near I don't know what part of town that is, but it's right near a bunch of cool bars and like a whole strip, like party strip. You know? So we would work during the day, and then after we were off at like 10 or 11 or 12, we would just walk down to all these bars. And there's this one in particular called Losers. And we were playing. Entheos was playing in Nashville about a little over a week ago. And we drove by it to get to the club, and I'm like, guys, we're parking. I got to take you guys to Losers. And it was like 2:30, and it was packed.
Really?
There was a bunch of people there. I was like, I thought it would be empty, but there was a bunch of people there, and it was great. But yeah, Nashville is very much a party town.
It really is.
So I don't know, dangerous.
I will make any town a party town, even if it isn't. But definitely, I feel that way. Austin, Nashville, Atlanta, New Orleans.
Austin is Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Austin for sure. Have you had avocado margaritas there, dude?
Mind blown. I haven't.
Dude, it's a real thing.
That sounds so good.
It's so fucking good. You can't even wrap your head around it. Someone told me, and I was like, they actually put avocados. They're like, yes.
So it tastes like a smoothie or what?
Dude, it's like and it's the smooth emphasis on smooth.
Yeah, because of the avocado.
The avocado.
And they put lime juice and everything.
Dude, it's a margarita with fucking avocados in it, and it's awesome.
Dude, that sounds so good.
Bro,
my mind is blown. Like,
if you go back to Austin, clearly find a place to get a...
Is it a thing that's like in a lot of different places?
I had them at 2 different places, so I'm assuming it's becoming more and more ubiquitous within the drinking scene of Austin.
It's like a bushwhacker. Have you had one of those?
I don't know. What's a bushwhacker?
I don't really know, but it's a Nashville thing.
Okay.
So when I was there, I would spot these people drinking these crazy looking... It was like it's in a pint glass. It looks like a Frappuccino.
Okay.
And it's it's probably like a 10,000 calorie drink.
Yeah.
And it's like it's got Kahlua and it's creamy and it kind of tastes like coffee and it's got every liquor in the bar in it.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
Like every bar has one, and I got one night. Amazing.
Badass.
I'm thinking that's probably like the Austin version of Bushwhacker.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
So when there, have yourself a Bushwhacker. Go to Austin, have yourself a frozen.
I gotta try that.
Fucking avocado margarita.
It's insane.
It's so good, dude. Jesus Christ.
Hey, can I have some of that?
Of course. Crack it, man. Cheers.
Dude, this is great.
Cheers.
This is going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Yes, it is.
This path I walk is comforting, but now I'm left to sing this song alone. I'm fading faster now. It's time to walk away with nothing left in my soul.
Oh, sorry. This is so good. So I've cashed in 4 tokens.
Yeah.
So I haven't drank in like 10 days.
Jesus.
The taste of this crispy boy.
Yeah.
It's how most people tell themselves they feel when they drink an IPA.
Yeah.
That's how I actually feel when I drink
Yeah,
this
but you
Coors Light.
actually. It's so good, dude. Oh, they're so refreshing. Nothing like a little coldy hon in your mouth to get the party started. So drumming-wise, you were a guy that seemed to play some pretty technical things or gravitate towards or be involved in technical projects. Is there pressure in that? Do you feel like you are one of the guys that is participating in this sort of race, so to speak, of technical drumming, and is there pressure associated with that?
I don't feel that I'm really part of that. I think I do technical drumming for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that people who are fans of my drumming and who sort of gravitate towards all the stuff that I do, they like the personality, that I seem to be able to. And this is what people say. You know,
Right.
I'm not just like talking out of my ass.
Yeah.
People will say, I really like this style that you do, or, the way I'll do something that's, I sort of pride myself on doing something that most people do, but I do it in my own way.
Sure.
You know? And that's honestly the best compliment ever, because that's
Right.
what I want to do. Like, I do play technically, I admit that, but I've never been trying to be the most technical or the most fast or the best, the most rudiments. I mean, I
Right.
just learned how to do a double paradiddle the other day.
Are you
I'd
kidding
never
me?
done one.
Really?
I'd never thought to do that. I was giving a kid a lesson, and he was like, "Oh, are you doing that with a double paradiddle?" And I'm like, "What's that?" And he was like, "It's this." And now, I can obviously do it, really quickly, but
Right.
it's just I'm not trying to be the most learned or the most rudimentary. I'm a student.
Yeah.
Always. And I want to just bring my voice to drums. I want to complement the music with the drumming.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way. That's my goal. If it has to be where it's not that technical and that's what fits, then I'll do that.
Right.
And I think for me, finding the common ground is the most important.
Sure.
And I'm still trying to do that. I'm not saying I'm there by any means.
Well, I asked that because I've for instance, interviewed John Longstreth, and
Yeah, of course. It's like, dude, growing up listening to him, like he is one of my favorite drummers, and he's insanely technical.
it's outrageous.
But yeah, there's no me compared to him. I mean, we're not even in the same. We don't even do the same thing. It's like it's not even the same instrument. So
Yeah.
Of course, it's amazing, awe-inspiring what he does, and it's great. And I think he's another guy who's got a lot of personality to his drumming, because the technical drumming thing in that realm has kind of taken on its own sort of thing.
Yeah, I think and it's one of the conversations that I had with him in talking about triggers and this and that and the other. I think everybody kind of resorts to a similar tone of their drums, and then
it's like each genre of music will have a certain tone that
Right.
you want to shoot for, of course. And I think
some more maybe redundant than others, I would say.
I completely agree with that, but I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, with my band or any band, it's like there's like a standard for what it should sound like.
Right.
And I have noticed that if it goes too far out of that, people sort of tune it out. And I wonder sometimes if that's
Metal
an
traditionalists.
issue. Yeah, I wonder if that's an issue sometimes with my playing, because I wonder sometimes if it's, I think sometimes you either have to be so far out that now it's novel,
Right.
or, not too far to where it's familiar, but just a little bit different, so it's cool.
Right.
And I wonder sometimes, am I too much in the middle of those things?
I hear you, because I mean there are guys like Mark Juliana or some of these guys that you'll watch and you're like incredibly distinctive voice on the instrument, and by most accounts I would say plays in the outer limits of what is considered probably most normal quote unquote music,
Yeah.
So there's that. So I hear you. It's a delicate balance, and you want to sort of embrace and have an identity on the instruments and have a voice on your instrument, but not go so far left field that you're just alienating yourself.
Exactly.
It's kind of
Exactly.
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and if you don't go if you don't go to the point of like sideshow, then I think it's even worse in a way.
Right.
You know? So I think that's one of the things I struggle with, because I'm sort of I feel like I'm in between. I'm in between familiar but enough of giving yourself your own voice and freak show.
Right.
You know, I'm sort of in between there.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like people don't really know what to think of it, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something that floats around in my head, like, where am I going with this?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think about that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a cool learning experience for me, going back to the Whitechapel thing. Like, you know, if I'm working on my own project, I have a very strong opinion about stuff, and I don't let anybody tell me what to do. But since I was sort of, you know, brought in there to do what they wanted to do, it's their band, it's not my band. Like, I didn't have that as much. Mm-hmm. You know, I could say, hey, you guys want me to do this? And then, you know, they could say yes or no. That's sort of when I started thinking about all this stuff. I was able to sit there and have somebody tell me, hey, let's try it without all those weird fills, you know, and then hear it played back and go, that's actually pretty cool, you know?
Right.
Like, a lot of the time, if Mark and me would have sort of a disagreement, he'd be like, all right, well, let's just try it both ways. We'll do it with your way, you know, the jazz hands.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it my way. It's just like straight up metal guy.
Right.
And it's like, a lot of the time after it was done, it would be more simple his way, but I'd sit there and say, that's actually
maybe more effective.
Yeah, it's like, that's kind of cooler, you know?
Right.
So it kind of just broadened my horizons in that way, because I've always been the type of guy to go, okay, how dense can I make this?
Yeah.
You know? And so now I'm more experimenting with, like, how effective can I make it, and how much of an impact does it have when you, like, hold back a little bit and then you hit them with a super sick fill. It's like, it's got so much more of an impact, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And that's part of, I mean, I think a lot of people would call that quote-unquote musicianship. It's a very subjective term, but
Totally.
but definitely pacing yourself, which I'm terrible at. I'm an impatient person.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the most impatient motherfucker ever.
Me too. And that's something that I've been, like, just in life, working on being patient, you know, like, even with little everyday stuff, just like, hey, dude, you need to chill. You know?
Yeah, I don't do it well. I have a 1-year-old son now, and having a child forces you to at times be patient, because the alternative is shaking him and throw him out the window, and you don't want to shake him and throw him out the window. In fact, when you're at the hospital, I've talked about this before. They show you, it's literally, I think it was like a VHS tape that they had from the 70s, because they can't do it now due to PC reasons or whatever. But it's called like "Don't Shake the Baby." And
I mean, there's like memes and stuff.
Yeah, but I had never seen the fucking thing. But I had a kid, and then they show you that.
So they really show it to you.
You have to watch it. It's you have to watch it. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
And I realized why. It's because at some point they start crying so much, your first inclination is to shake the shit out of them.
Okay, idea. Tell me if this is weird, because I've said this to Cheney.
Okay.
I'm like, look, you know, we have a kid's screaming or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
throwing on my big drummer headphones.
Yeah. Tuning it out.
I'm putting some music on.
Yeah.
You know, and hold the kid and let him cry. Is that like me totally being naive?
No, you can do that. I feel like I probably did something similar to that in one of the crying fits.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm just gonna throw these headphones on.
Yeah,
they're gonna
and
block out the
let you
sound.
cry
and
it out.
I'll hold them. I'm not gonna neglect the kid.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
cry
can't
it out.
also just be here like just you blowing my fucking eardrums out
like,
either.
why should I have to listen to it? You know? I'll throw some music on or something, and I won't hear anything, because I have these, you know,
Yeah.
headphones that block everything out, and I think it might block a crying kid out, dude.
Yeah, they would. That's what they should market them as, in fact. Well, going back to, I guess, the drumming thing, what was your foray into the instrument? How did you come across it?
So my dad's a drummer.
Oh, so you come from not only a musical family, but a drumming family.
Yeah, second generation.
Second generation
So
drummer.
he had always had a drum set up. Like, I grew up I grew up around it, but I never really would learn how to do it. And then when I was in 5th grade, he was like, "Hey, do you want to like learn how to actually play the drums?" And I was game, I guess, and I learned how to do just a really simple beat. Like he just taught me, the right hand goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do the kick on 1 and the snares on 3, and that was like it. He taught me that, and I honestly it was really hard. I remember not being into it.
Really?
I remember thinking like this is really hard and stupid, and I remember asking him like, "Can't I just play the drums without the feet? Like, why do I have to do that? That seems really weird."
Well, you could just be a percussionist and do that.
Well, that's what he said. He was like, "Well, you could be a percussionist," and I was like, "I don't really like that idea." I was like, "All right." So I like stuck it out and learned how to do the beat, and then from there it just kind of took off,
Interesting. Did your dad study at all, or was he self-taught?
He had a teacher, a drum teacher, when he was a kid, who he talks about a lot. But his drum teacher hated rock. His drum teacher was like a jazz guy. So my dad's always been more of a jazz drummer. And he's not professional, but he always had a drum set, and he's a musical guy.
Yeah, a journeyman, as they say.
Yeah. And but I was always into rock.
Right.
So I started drumming when I was about 11, and then when I was 12, I heard Primus.
Oh.
And it was like,
do you remember which record?
Oh, of course. Frizzle Fry.
Oh, Frizzle Fry is so incredible.
When I heard that, it was just like, okay, this is the best drummer to ever live. Like,
it was incredible.
Because before that, I wasn't really into drummers. You know what I mean? Like, I'd heard Green Day and Nirvana. Like, I really liked those bands
But
a
that's
lot.
not drum-centric music.
Exactly. Like,
Frizzle Fry was fucking drum-centric music.
And when I heard that, and the tight snare drum, dude, I was just
so
like,
good.
And to this day, that's my favorite drum, not that album, but the, like, Pork Soda.
Yeah.
Best drum tone. Like, you can't beat that, in my opinion.
I came across Primus as well for Frizzle Fry, and it was the year that it came out, and the guy that turned me on to it was like this kind of redneck kid. To this day, I'll have to catch up with him and be like, how the fuck did you know about that record? Like in like fairly rural Louisiana, like how did you find out about Primus Frizzle Fry?
There's no internet.
Right, exactly. I think he had a brother who was maybe into weird shit. Maybe his brother's not. I don't know how it happened, but he played it for me. It was right when I had just started to play the drums. And same reaction, same realization. I was like, this is the most awesome drumming I've ever heard. This is like what I want to sound. To this day, I'm sure there are things that I do that are Tim Herb Alexander.
Dude. Like, to me, it's uncanny for me. Like, because going back to saying, I want to be original, I don't really, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Like, for me, personally.
I've never heard Herb in your drumming.
Being myself. But to me, I'm just like, like, obviously, all these people, I just try to sound like the people that I like,
Right.
And, I met a kid. I started at a new school. And they were like, oh, I met, just talking to people. Oh, this kid Luke, who I can't kind of grew up with. He was like, they were like, oh, Luke plays drums, and like you might be friends with him. And he was like, yeah, have you heard Primus? And I'm like, oh no. And he showed it to me right there, and I was just like, I don't know. I just remember the feeling so much, And I think that feeling is like what I want out of music.
Right.
Just when you hear something, all you're thinking about is like the music. You're just like. You're like trying to figure out what's going. It's like being thrown into like water or something.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out which way is up and which way is down, and you're just like, you don't even necessarily like it. You know what I mean? You're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
What's going on right now?
You've been thrusted into the vortex.
Exactly, and I can name a few releases that have made me feel that way. And that's definitely one of them. When I was a kid.
And it's funny in revisiting it throughout the years. Obviously, because like I said, I was just starting to play the drums, and when I heard it, I was just obsessing over that. But it's really the absolute idiosyncratic chemistry of those three players that makes that band just absolutely unique, and like nothing that has preceded and followed.
Totally.
Like, it's crazy. I mean, you have to have Les's bass playing, and then you have Larry's guitar playing. I feel like not enough people talk about how absurdly, incredibly badass he is.
He's sort of like the unsung hero.
He's the unsung hero in that fucking
Which
band.
is weird, because most bands...
Right. It's the
drummer and bass player are not the most famous people.
Right.
You know, I mean, I guess Rush.
Right.
You know,
which is who they've modeled themselves after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess they're kind of like Rush for the younger generation.
Yeah. What are some of the other records that you heard that you were like, this is a game changer?
It would be Origin.
Oh, wow.
Informus.
Look at that. Okay.
The John... Well, actually, hold on a second. I'm more old school than that. I went to see this band Skinless, I believe. Anyway, I went to see... I'm pretty sure it was Skinless. I'll go with that. And Origin opened.
Okay.
And I am from the Bay Area, so I used to go to the shows all the time at this club called The Pound. It was kind of like the St. Vitus of San Francisco.
Okay.
Before there was St. Vitus.
Yeah.
This was like the ultimate place, you know? Like,
yeah.
It was obviously I think this because I'm sort of like an older guy now, so I'm the old guy who's going back in my day.
Yeah.
But back in my day, we had this fucking club, and it was all the sick bands played there all the time, you know? And I went to see Skinless, and Origin opened, and it's like I'm sitting there. I don't know who they are. It was the first time I'd ever heard a band that did blast beats the whole time.
Right.
I'm like, no, dude, there's not a blast beat part. This motherfucker is back there blasting and doing double bass the whole time. Mind fucking blown, dude.
And like
are you
BPMs
kidding?
Out the ass.
Yeah.
Boot.
And then they were like slower.
Right.
Because this is well, it was the first Relapse Origin album.
Okay.
And because there's a demo as well. I don't know if you're aware of that. There's an Origin demo, and it fucking kills.
Okay.
Dude, it's sick.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of songs from the first album that's on Relapse. So that demo is super sick, but I didn't find out about that until later. So I heard them, I was just like, okay, that's the heaviest, sickest thing. Like, you know when you hear something, and you're like, I'm now in tune with something that the rest of society is not.
Right.
Like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a part of this something new. You know,
Right.
That's how I felt, dude. It was just like all these people running around, they don't even know. You know, I'm at like it's like the Matrix coming to life or something.
Right.
You know, and that was definitely one of the times. And
That's awesome.
I went and bought their album after, and I was a huge fan after that. And then Informus came out, and it was like, what the hell? Because they were already crazy. And then that came out, and it was like, you know, probably 3x crazier than the first one.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. Frederick Thorndahl, Soul Niger Within. You like
yes,
that?
yes.
The first time I heard that, it was like, okay, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I was freaking out. Like, I was like laughing hysterically, just like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, and then they kicked into that one part, and I was like, what's going on? And then it took me like a little while to realize, and I was like, it's a sax solo.
Right.
I was like, they put a fucking sax on, like, that album changed my life forever. Like, I have never been the same since hearing that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like, I've just looked at music differently since then. Just like, wait a minute, you can do that? You can just make an album and you can just do whatever you want? Like, it just broke everything for me. Because I'd never really been a huge Meshuggah fan.
Okay, well, I've got one hell of a Meshuggah story for you then, and in being a big fan of them. So another weird instance of somebody, and I don't know how he found this. It was probably looking at a magazine and saying, this record cover looks cool, so I'm going to go buy the cassette tape.
Dude, that's how it was back in the day.
Right.
That's how I found out about Dying Fetus. I was like, that looks like a cool cover.
I think my buddy did that, and he turned me onto it, and he played me Destroy, Erase, Improve. And it was right when that had come out. And then I heard the Nun EP. And,
dude, Nun EP is like my favorite.
Oh, it's badass.
So good.
So badass. So I was absolutely in shock. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It was so radical when I heard Meshuggah. It was
just hits
unbelievable.
You, it's like getting hit by a wave. You ever get hit by a wave?
Yes, I have.
You're just like,
yeah, what the fuck?
You're like, okay, first things first. I got to find out which way's up. Right. Okay, after that, I got to try to swim up. And then I got to try to get some air. And then I got to see what's coming at me next.
Yeah.
And that's the best feeling, dude.
Yeah. So Meshuggah did that, and here's my crazy Meshuggah story. So I became part of their fan club, and they had like a contest. They were like, describe our music and you'll win something.
That's cool.
So in Louisiana, I wrote out handwritten, rolled a piece of paper, sent it to Sweden, mailed a fucking envelope.
Everybody listening, you used to have to physically mail shit, dude. Okay.
So check out how crazy this is. I mail it to him. I'm thinking, I was thinking, even to this day, even back then, the postal service has never been the most functioning thing. Shit gets lost.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, if it gets there, it'd be a miracle. Well, in the mail, months later or whatever, I get a package, and it's from Meshuggah, and it's all this signed stuff, and they say, you won the contest.
Oh, my God. So what'd you say?
So I'm just going through it, and there was like a picture of them like hanging out on this blue Volkswagen like Beetle and everything, and they gave. I still have to this day a signed copy.
I would fucking hope so.
A signed copy of Destroy, Erase, Improve, and like autographs and like just pictures and stories and all that. They sent me a whole packet of shit. So I met Thomas Hake, and I said, dude, a long time ago, I entered in a contest to describe Meshuggah, and I gotta ask, man, y'all sent me a thing, and I'm trying to figure out if I was the only person that won. He said, well, there was only one person that won. I don't remember the name, but we sent a picture of us all hanging around this blue Volkswagen Bug, and I was like, fuck, that was me, dude.
That's amazing.
How crazy is that?
That is cool. That is cool.
So that's my crazy, like, Twilight Zone Meshuggah story.
That's very cool. What year was that? You're saying it was Destroy, Erase, Improve era?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, maybe
So late 90s?
I'd have to look up what year that was. I'm bad with years, but
like my brother and I both got into metal. He's very close in age to me. He's like a year and a half younger, and we both got into music and everything at the same time. He's 32.
Okay.
And I'm 33.
Oh wow, year apart.
Yeah, so we're 18 months apart, but there is a portion of the year where we're
a year
one
apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe he's 32.
Okay.
And by the way, it's not a bad thing that I don't know this. Yeah. I had to ask Cheney the other day how old I was, and I wasn't kidding.
Yeah, I get lost in it sometimes.
I don't think about that a lot.
Right.
Often. Anyway, we had like chaos fear when we were kids and stuff, but it was like so ahead, that I was just I just couldn't get it.
It's kind of a fucked up sound in recording, and even in revisiting it, it's always been a little trebly, kind of crazy, weird.
Not just that, but I mean, dude, I didn't listen to odd time music, or I know some of their stuff's not odd time per se, but it's
a lot of it is
so twisted. It's like I was just like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like this
absolutely.
is it's like sometimes stuff is such a way that you just can't even really hear it.
Yeah.
Like how they say that you can't. Like that the Native Americans like didn't see the ships coming in,
right?
Because it was like so crazy. That's kind of how it was for me with Meshuggah, and it took a while. Like it took hearing, honestly, after I heard Soul Niger, which was when I was 21, so 12 years ago, and it was not even new at that point,
right?
The album's from like '99, but it took me hearing that to go, okay. I get it now. And then after that, I've been more of a Meshuggah fan for sure.
I hear you, man. It's amazing. I saw them recently, and I've always kind of whittled the power or the crux of their performance, and especially in their ability to appeal to a wider audience, despite the heavy music that they play, is straight up the quarter note pulse. They keep that, they drive that shit home, and they get weird around it. Heads are nodding the whole time to the quarter note pulse.
Yeah. Very important.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And that's why people can dig them, and they can get weird as fuck at times, but they keep that quarter note pulse driving, and heads are bobbing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sort of a testament to what I was saying earlier. It's like it's weird, but there's something there that keeps you in with what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not sideshow status.
Right. Right.
And that's just great. Like people love that stuff.
Right.
And I do too. And it's great.
And reverting back to your drumming, at which point did you study at all? I'd asked you if your dad was, I didn't actually ask if you went to school or if you studied with anybody.
No.
You're self-taught.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. I took you. In full disclosure, I totally assumed you were like a Berkley guy.
That's a compliment. Thank you. A lot of people think that but I'm just good at copying people.
Oh, that's fucking classic, man.
I will fixate on one person at a time.
Yeah.
And just like try to mimic them as much as I can.
Wow.
And then, bring all that together. That's what I do.
Wow.
And then sort of practice. When I feel like my drumming's getting stale, I'll sort of go on like a quest for new fills or rudiments.
But there's something to be said for being able to interpret physically and rudimentally what's happening with technical music that you listen to, because that's something that kind of eludes me. I can sort of make out what's happening. I don't know that I fully would understand. I mean, I guess I could just sit there for hours, but once again, that takes patience, and I don't fucking have it.
Yeah, I don't have any patience. I'm the least patient guy ever.
Yeah.
Like, I get really mad and frustrated easily.
But you had to have practiced your ass off throughout your life.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I feel like most people practice more than me.
Yeah. Most people.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sort of lucky with drumming, and I guess this is a dick thing to say, but I've just sort of been kind of like I have like an innate talent for it.
Yeah.
And that's a dick thing to say, but it's
then you have to, because once again, I assumed you were totally schooled, practiced your ass off. I'm
not going to say I didn't practice a lot. That's not true, but I know that a lot of drummers who practice way more than me, like to a point that I wouldn't even go there,
Right.
And I think I identify weaknesses of mine and I work on those for sure.
Well, that's an important aspect.
But I don't really like drill it out. Yeah, no. I mean, if I ever practice, it's never for more than an hour or something like that. Sometimes I think there's always like one part of the year where I really want to get better at something, and then at that point, for like a month or so, I'll kind of really work on something.
Yeah.
And I'm always doing little things here or there, but it's more of a consistent thing. It's more of a thing where, okay, I started playing drums. I wanted to get better. I always want to get better. But instead of going hard because how many people do you know that played an instrument or played drums or whatever, and they got into it, they went super hard, and then life got a hold of them.
Yeah.
Quote unquote life. And now they don't play at all, And I've never done that.
Right.
I've always stayed, okay, I don't practice a whole lot, but I don't practice none.
Yeah.
But I do that ever since I started.
Yeah. The consistency is something to be said for that.
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I say it all the time, like, to get good at something or to change, like, your life in any way, it doesn't take much. It takes doing it every single day for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
And I've said 45 minutes. If you practice for 45 minutes a day, dude, come on. In 5 years, you never stop.
Right.
Think about what you could do.
Collectively, that's a lot of time.
Think about what you could do, because there's certain things I think about where I'm like, shit, if I had kept doing that for 45 minutes a day, fuck, I'd be so
I feel that way about guitar. Guitar was my first instrument. I gravitated towards the drums, and then the drums were I just had a natural proclivity towards them, and then I stuck with them.
Yeah.
But to this day, I bought not one but two guitars. I have them on my wall. I look at them. I say, man, those are cool looking guitars. And then, but I to this day can't seem to bring myself to pick them up. And I'm like, if I would have just played, like you're saying, 45 minutes.
You just keep it going.
If I would have just done that consistently, I'd have been good to go. I'd be playing the damn guitar. I would be able to play the guitar.
Totally. Yeah,
So.
I play guitar too. I love guitar.
Do you?
Yeah. I play guitar a lot, and I write a lot of stuff for our band, for Entheos. But that was mainly because drums are loud.
Right.
So when I was a kid, I had a neighbor who played drums as well. And he had a guitar laying around, and I was like, dude, I'll give you a splash cymbal and a stand for that guitar.
Really?
And it was like a Fender Squier.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been playing guitar like ever since.
No shit.
Yeah, totally.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And did you, once again, never took lessons? You just play by ear and you were able to...
Yeah, but I'm not like a pro guitar player.
Yeah.
I know how to play, and I can make cool stuff happen, but it's a utility for sure. I love guitar. I could play in a band or something, but I've just never gone there. And playing guitar live kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to playing drums. Like drums are like, you get to hit stuff. Right. Yeah, guitar is like fragile. It's like it's gonna break. If
little
you
strings.
Hit it. Yeah. Not my thing. Like I love playing guitar because I like making musical notes and everything.
Yeah.
But live, no, I need to hit stuff hard.
I'm with you on that. Animals as leaders. What was the process of you joining that band? How did that happen? And was it challenging? What was that?
Dude,
that
I
all
was
about?
gonna bring that up, like in terms of, I don't think I was like a really pro solid drummer until I did that. You know,
Really?
because first of all, I'd never played to a metronome like ever in
For
my
real?
life. Yeah, never done it.
Dude, you're blowing my mind. Get the fuck out of here.
So-
you serious?
I knew I was in a band, Animosity, which is like a metal band from way back when.
Yeah.
And that's how I met like everybody that I know. So I met we used to play shows with Reflux, which is Tosin's first band.
Okay. So that's the connection.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I met him, and Evan Brewer was in that band as well, and Ash Avildsen, who owns Sumerian, was the vocalist.
Aha.
So my old band Animosity and Reflux played a show together in Texas.
Okay.
And like I got to be one of the people who sees Tosin for the first time, you know, so because Reflux was sick, you know, they were crazy. Like,
Really?
they were like insane.
Instrumental as well?
No, they had a vocalist.
Okay.
And but he did like the looping stuff and all that, you know, like some of the Animals tracks are like newer Reflux songs that never came out.
Okay.
And they got reworked
Repurposed.
into
Yeah.
like CHA-CHING is one of them.
Oh, that song.
Yeah.
That's one of
so
my
like I
all-time favorites.
saw Reflux play what is now CHA-CHING
No way.
back in the day.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and it's like, dude, I'm like, all right, this band looks pretty cool. You know when a band's sound checking, and you can kind of tell they're gonna be really sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the way the drummer kind of like checks
Right.
the snare, and the guitar player, and I'm like, damn, this fucking band's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
And then I watched them, and I was like, and then they get to this one part, and it's like he loops a lead, and then they're like doing a breakdown over it. You know, like what
Right.
Animals would do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
mind blown. And I'm just like, dude, you fucking rule, man. And and Evan was the bass player, an amazing bass player. And that's how I met those guys. And like I had just never got out of touch with them. That was probably 18 at the time.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I was really young. It was one of Animosity's like first ever runs. Like
Wow.
like the first time we got out of California.
Yeah, yeah.
And just always kept in contact with them. And then Ash became a booking agent, and he was the vocalist of Reflux. He started booking Animosity, and so we just always kept in contact. And then Tosin did the Animals album, and a lot of people don't realize this, but it's like the album came out, and there was no Animals band for like 2 years. You know, the album had been out. I remember like hearing it and then texting Tosin like, I can't believe I know you. Like I remember sending that to him, like that text, just like, this is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, you know? And I didn't even think I could play it, you know? Like, and then he had asked me when I was still in Animosity. Tosin had hit me up and said, like, hey, we're thinking about like putting a band together and like playing some shows with this Animals material. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm doing Animosity, and like, I don't really want to deal with like starting over. You know what I mean? And then Animosity, I don't know. I think they may have played like one show with Matt Halpern.
Okay.
Because I know that he played a couple shows.
He did play a few
I think
shows.
it was at that time.
Okay.
And then whatever happened, they didn't do anything after that. And I think because of that, Matt joined Periphery.
Okay.
And then Tosin moved out of state, and I'm not exactly sure of the details there.
Yeah.
Animosity broke up. And then Tosin was like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this again. And I was like, dude, you got to get me to play drums. Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I got this.
Yeah.
You know? And when I totally didn't have it at all. Like, I was totally bluffing. Like, I didn't try to learn it. I never attempted to play it. And he had been talking to some other drummers, you know, and I was like, dude, do not get them. Get me. I will do it. You're going to get me. It's going to be sick. Trust me. And, like, I made that video for Tempting Time, and he was like, that was like the first That was actually that Tempting Time video. I don't know if have you seen that video?
I haven't, but now I got to check it out.
It's like, dude, it's so shitty. It's like me playing to Tempting Time on a flip video.
Right. The
with
little flip
two
cams.
mics. It sucks. It was the first time I ever successfully played the song.
For real?
Yeah. Like, I was like kind of getting the hang of it, and I was like, well, if I do get it, I want to have it on video so I don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's how impatient I am.
Right.
So I got it, and I was like, okay, it's pretty good. I sent it to him. He was like, dude, this is super sick. And then that was it. Yeah. And then I shipped my drums to D.C. and did the band.
What was the process like of then learning that back material and then writing?
It was hard. So like I said, I had never played to a click before in my life. Right. So I'm like, but it felt pretty good. It's pretty natural.
Yeah.
I'd also like never played an odd time beat ever.
Dude,
Like, yeah.
how did you, what?
Yeah, no.
None of this makes
just,
sense.
I was just bluffing, dude. I was just, like I said, I'm good at faking it, dude. So I'm like, I just learned it. I don't know. What I would do is, a lot of it I could sort of just play to it, and then the stuff that I couldn't, I would sort of shorthand write it out and just work it over and over again until I had it. And
really?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was hard, and it made me such a better drummer, dude.
Oh my God, yeah,
you know,
I bet.
because it's just hard stuff to play.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's hard. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it anymore. Because if you know, on tour, your mind will start wandering when you're playing drums on stage, and like with that stuff, you start wandering and you go, "Fuck, where am I?" Like, oh shit, like, you know, you can't get back on. Like, it's hard.
Oh man, that is amazing. So y'all recorded Weightless and then I guess toured for, how long did you tour with them after that?
After Weightless, not that long. I think in total it was probably only 2 years, 2 to 3 years, maybe.
Wow,
in that range.
But a crucial point in the development of your playing. Clearly,
dude, learning experience is the best. It's amazing. Yeah. So that was great, and that's how I met Cheney, my fiance. Her band opened for Animals in Iowa, and we hit it off. And then I got really into production, and I was kind of like, you know what? I don't really want to tour anymore. I want to do like production and like studio work and make electronic music and just be like my own kind of dude. Yeah. You know, and that's sort of that was the direction I wanted to go in. That's why I quit the band.
Okay.
And it worked for a while. I mean, it would have totally worked. It was fun, and then I did I started this like electronic kind of sideshow thing that I would do where I'd play drums and have like electronic music going, and I would do like little loops and stuff.
Right.
And that was pretty fun. And I did that. I did a couple tours doing that. And then I sort of one of the tours was with Animals. Like they took me out, which was awesome. You know, great guys for doing that.
Yeah.
And I remember just being there watching them and watching the crowd and just thinking like, there's no replacement for like a band.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I think I'm going to start a band when I get home. And then, or no, what I was thinking was next time I go on tour, it's going to be in a band. If I'm going to do this again.
Right.
Because once you start doing it, you can say, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. Da da da. It's like it's in you, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's not going anywhere.
Right.
You can say you're not going to do it. You know, I talk to people sometimes who want to quit, and I see exactly how they feel, you know. And I don't say this aloud, but I'm just like, you know, once you quit, you're going to be bummed.
Right.
Not that I was ever bummed, but just it was like, okay, this is a thing that's like I do, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll start a new metal band, and Cheney is a vocalist, you know, and we were, like I said, already together for a while, and I'm like, let's fucking start a band. This will be sick, you know? And it took off, you know? And here I am now on the fucking rooftop of a building.
Drinking Coors Lights and talking about
amazing.
drums.
It's amazing, dude. Like, it's such a cool ride, man.
So going forward, man, we're here. It's April 2019. What do you have what does the future hold for you? What you got going on, man?
So we are doing another tour in July.
Okay.
No, we're going home. We're doing a festival in Mexico.
Nice.
which is going to be insane. Kiss is playing.
No way, really?
I'm playing with Kiss. That's like, what? So we're doing that, and then we come home. We go on tour in July. After that, we're going to make a new album.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hibernation time, write in time, and try to
Somewhat.
demo, record, do the whole.
I'm always writing music.
Yeah.
Like, I have like 5 songs already.
Yeah.
And so we want to just get together for like a short amount of time and do the damn thing. You know what I mean? I don't really want to slow down. I don't want to like take a year off or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm thinking like 3 months. Just because things are starting to pick up,
Yeah.
Like things are just now for this band getting to a point where it's feeling good,
Yeah.
and where it's starting to feel a little easier, you
Yeah.
know, because when you first start, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to feel good. This tour is going great. Like, we're seeing sort of the work that we've done start to pay off a little bit.
Nice.
You know?
That's
and,
a good deal.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's awesome. That's
Keep
what
the
we're doing.
momentum.
That's what we're doing. Yeah,
Got to keep it going. Consistency.
that's what we're doing.
This all
Yeah.
goes back to consistency.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, because how many bands are out there that you think are terrible, that are huge?
Lot.
A lot, right? Yeah. I think no matter who you are, you'd say, there's so many shitty bands that are big and they keep going, right?
Right.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not trash talking to any bands.
Right.
But what is that a testament to? Not stopping.
Right.
Because that's what I said when I started the band. I was like, you know what? Let's start a band, and instead of like, right when it gets to a point where it's doing good, we quit. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't even really have to be good. Even if we suck, like, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
And it'll go
Keep
somewhere.
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep at it, because how many other people have done that?
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's like what life is.
But that takes patience.
It does.
Patience
And it's
is
the
a hard
most
thing.
important thing, and it is fucking hard to do. Because I want it all now.
Yeah, don't we all? Right on. Well, Navene, it was fun talking to you, man. I'm a fan of your
You too,
plan.
man.
My mind is still blown that you aren't a super studied Berkley guy.
I know. I know.
But that
I
is
didn't let you down.
that is a testament to just your natural inclination to the instrument, which
Yeah.
is fucking awesome.
And not stopping.
And not stopping. Once again,
So
it
I've
always
been
reverts
playing
back to that.
22 years. So, that's
Yeah.
a pretty good amount of
It's a
time.
long ass time.
Yeah, and I've never stopped.
That's right.
Since I started.
There
So,
it is. Best of luck going forward, and I look forward to seeing you rock some shit tonight.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Navene for rapping on a rooftop over some chilly Charles Bronsons. Dude's a character and a killer drummer, and it was a great talk, and it was an absolute pleasure. We'll have to do it again. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Stay tuned. Crash, bang, boom.